All right, are you ready to make something fun and different for young kids for Halloween? How about these print and cut Halloween coloring cards? I'm going to show you how to do the drawing on your machine. And you'll see when you draw on the machine, it gives more of an outline because they're all skinny points, and then cut and score. Or you can print on your home printer, which gives you more filled in areas, a little more dimension. The difference between those two. There's no right or wrong way, depends on what you have and what look you're going for. Now, some of the other things is you can keep this to and the from, or you cannot have it. So here's an example. This spooky was drawn on the machine, that's why it's outlined, and it has the to and from. That's great for school parties, for teachers, for daycare, but if you decide you want to do these for trick-or-treating, you probably don't know who you're going to give them to and from, so you're just going to leave that off. Then you can also score so that it folds in half like a card, or you can leave that score mark off, and let me show you two ways to package that. So this is a standard cellophane package. It's a B3, 3.5 by 5 1/8. So you can fold it and put it in there, look really cute in a basket for trick-or-treaters or at a school. Or you can use this bigger one, which is a pretty standard card size cellophane bag. Leave it flat, the kids can see the design, and the crayons will also look cute in a bag. So great options, and let's get started. So I've opened a new canvas and I'm going to click upload, and I've already uploaded the design we're going to work with. So I'm going to add that to the canvas. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ungroup it so we can have access to all 6 layers. Now, the reason there are 6 layers is so it's nice and flexible for you. We have the art layer, the outside shape that's going to cut, this to and from, you may or may not want it. So in this example with Halloween, you may want to just make a bunch of these and put them in a bucket to give to little kids instead of or in addition to candy. So you might just want to delete this one. So we're going to delete that one. Then there are cut lines for the crayon holders, which we don't need to be red. So we're going to change that to white. And then there are 2 different line sections that are designed to be score lines. This is going to score, so it's really easy to fold this up where you're going to put the crayons through the holes. And then this is the one that some people keep and some people delete. It is a fold line if you want to be able to fold this in half, so kind of the crayons are on the back. It's more shaped like a card and you can put it in a small envelope. But some people delete that and they keep this just as one flat piece. And it fits nicely into a cellophane bag for cards that you can find at many craft stores. We're going to keep it for now. So the next thing we're going to do is we have to go over here and tell Cricut what you want it to do, because right now it thinks you want to cut everything, which not true. Now let's talk about how to make these crayon cards where you're going to print them on your home printer and then score and cut with your Cricut. I'm going to move this up. We're going to select the 2 score lines. We're going to go over to Operation and we're going to choose Score. I'm going to attach those so that they're together. Now we want to make sure the machine is not going to cut the part that we're going to print on the printer, because then it's not going to be a very good coloring card if this is all chewed up. So we're going to select that, and we're going to select the base card shape, and we are going to flatten. Then you'll see it becomes a print then cut. We're going to put it down on the bottom. And now if you were to do nothing else and you clicked make it, you're going to see that it has 3 different mats set up. That is the warning that this didn't work right. You only want it to be 1 mat. So you're going to hit cancel. You're going to select everything and you're going to click attach. Attaching all of these actions together is what is going to give you one design, 1 mat that's going to print, cut, score, make sure it's 1, and choose your material size, 8.5 by 11. You can fit 2 of these on an 8.5 by 11. And then you're going to send it to the printer make sure you turn off add bleed, because what that does is it adds a little bit extra around everything that's printed and it makes it too fat and weird. So you're going to get rid of that, rid of the add bleed, and you're going to print. We're going to choose our base material. I'm using a medium cardstock, and then it tells you what to do. You're going to put nothing in clamp 1, get your scoring wheel in clamp B, and then press this button to load. And then the next thing we'll do when it tells us to is to add the fine point blade. I have the fine point blade in there, so it told me to put the scoring blade in there first. I'm going to do that. Always double check, and the machine will double check that you have the right thing in before it does anything. So just going to put that in there, close that up, and then load our design. And then click the flashing little Cricut button. All right, now that the scoring is done, it is telling me in design space to change the blade from the scoring to the fine blade. So I'm just going to put that in there, clamp that shut, and then click that button and let it finish its job. When it's done, this is going to blink again. We're going to press that to unload, and then we simply gently peel that up. We'll get that all off the mat. But now we have our card and it is scored, so it's really easy to fold up. Now let's make the Halloween coloring card with doing everything on your Cricut machine. Then we're going to select the score and go up to operation, and instead of basic cut, you want to change that to score. And you'll notice it changes it to dashed lines. Now we're going to select the part we want to draw. And again, operation, and we're going to put pen. Now you'll notice when you draw with your Cricut, it does outlines. It can't do these thick areas. So if you want it to look exactly like this, you're going to need to print it on a home printer and then score and cut with your Cricut. But if we're going to use everything on the Cricut, and we're going to change this to pen, and then that is how that is going to work. So now you want to go over here and you just want to confirm. So you have one thing to draw with the pen, the 2 lines to score, because we got rid of this half fold score, and then 2 basic cuts, the part for the crayons and then the card. Now you want to drag over and select everything, go down here and attach so that it's all going to happen at once. Then you're going to click Make It. You're just going to double check that there's just one mat, and it's going to say score, pen, and basic cut. Now, why I said make sure it shows one mat is if you forget the attach part, it's going to show you 2 different mats, and that's just not going to work right. So you'll see it move the score lines up to where they're not supposed to be. It made a second mat for cutting, and it has the crayon thing totally off, so that's not going to work. So don't forget this step, select all, attach, and make it. All right, so we've done that. I'm going to change this to 8.5 by 11. You can fit 2 of these on an 8.5 by 11. So once it detects your machine, it's going to tell you to set your base material, and I'm using a medium cardstock, and then it just walks you through the steps. So you're going to put your pen in clamp A, you're going to put the single score wheel in clamp B, you're going to load your materials, click the little Cricut button, get that done, and then once you have it, so once this first step is done, where your machine has done the score lines and drawn the art, it's going to give you this notice that tells you to change the score wheel in clamp B to the cutting, and then you're all set. All right, final step is once you have it printed, cut, and scored, you're going to add the crayons. So these just fold up right along the score line. And then what you're going to do, because the crayons are going to fit really well into those circles, you're going to very gently spin the crayon while holding your finger at the back of the paper. Because if you go too fast or you spin too hard without supporting that crayon holding paper part, you might rip it, and then you're starting over, which would be a total bummer. So once you get the hang of it, you just have to go a little bit slow. They're good, and you can see they stay in there really nicely.